Joining me today is New Hampshire Representative Neal Kurk. Neal, I keep pushing the budget because you're chair of
the House Finance
the House Finance Committee. So, two other items that come up. You mentioned roads and bridges, and you said you deal with that as sort of one-time issues. Is the tax base enough for that with the increases that we had a couple of years ago? The increase
decreases.
No, we had increased the gasoline tax a couple of years ago.
Yes.
We don't call it a gasoline tax.
Road toll.
Whatever. But
yes.
For all intents and purposes, I see it at the pump. Is that enough to get what we want done, or where the surplus is there, really handle that?
You're talking about two different funding sources for different kinds of ventures. The gasoline road tax is supposed to pay for the maintenance of the roads, and frankly, it's not producing enough revenue to maintain our roads and improve them. At this level, we would not even maintain the quality of our existing roads. And when I say this level, I mean the amount of revenue we get from the tax. The reason why we don't get a lot more revenue, even though we raise the tax, is that you and I are driving more efficient cars.
Vehicles, yeah.
Moreover, some of us are driving a bit less because while gasoline might have been 40 cents or $1, now it's $2 and change. So, and I know it's better than having it at $4, but the point is it's still $2.
That's right, yeah.
And so we're seeing people driving fewer miles.
And more efficient cars.
And more efficient cars. So even an increase in the tax rate isn't bringing us enough money because our costs are not standing still. The cost of everything we use to create a road or to maintain a road is going up, from asphalt to labor. So the same dollars don't buy the same number of miles of maintenance. And that's a problem. So the money that might be used for that wouldn't necessarily come from the gasoline tax. All of the gasoline tax is being spent on roads. That's a constitutional requirement. We have a gas tax protective section of our Constitution, so we don't divert that money. And we still need more if we're going to do something for our road structure.
All right, and I want to turn to sort of another issue that I think is going to have to be discussed around the budget, and that's the Medicaid expansion.
We have expanded Medicaid in this state. The New Hampshire Health Protection Plan is what we call it, and that's for people who are between 20, I guess it is, and 64, childless, working, or could be working, and they participate in a plan that gives them substantial federal subsidies.
95%, approximately?
No.
What is the federal? Let's do with Obamacare.
Okay. The federal government pays for this program,
yep.
And the state contributes when it's fully in effect, 10%. Right now it's a little bit less. And in New Hampshire, the hospitals and the insurance companies have volunteered, and I smile when I say that, to pay the 10% because the program was not going to go into effect if we had to use state taxpayer dollars. So the hospitals and insurance companies, which benefit greatly from this because it's roughly $450 million a year of federal money that's coming into the state, they contribute up to, at one point in the future, $50 million. They're getting a very good return on their money because these people are were substantially uninsured. It's about 50,000. They're now insured, and that means that the hospitals, which were previously treating them without getting payment for them, are getting Medicaid payment rates. And that's a good deal for the hospitals.
If Obamacare is overturned and not replaced, what happens in the state?
We would revert to the situation we had before, although remember the Republicans in Washington, Congress, and the President are saying they're not going to repeal Obamacare without also replacing it with something else. So the dire predictions of some that, 50,000 people currently on that program will be uninsured, it will not be true. What proportion of them will continue to be insured and how that will work remains to be seen. It's premature to make even any judgment or guess about what might happen.
Okay. Will that be settled in this year's budget?
No. My guess is that will not come out of Washington until June or July, and we'll have our budget in place by the end of June. So it might affect us in the following year, and we might have to reopen our budget to deal with that.
So, I mean, in the past, I think this expansion was passed in the second year of a biennium, correct? Or am I wrong in that?
We did something in 2013. It went into effect in 2014. So it was the way we did the Medicaid expansion. It's not part of the budget.
So, okay, that's
Right.
So it is off budget.
Right, but if it changes, it might become on budget, which is why I say we might have to reopen the budget, because we don't know how it's going to be structured. Will there be a block grant, for example? And if there were a block grant, that would probably go through the budget.
And we'd have to reopen the budget
right,
then.
and figure that out.
Okay, well, we're out of time in this segment, but when we return, we're going to change to something completely different. We're going to talk about marijuana, so please stay with us.